Hey horse lovers, welcome back to Free Spirit Equestrian. So today I'm going to be doing some under saddle work with my little POA Duke of Weselton here. We're going to do some walk, trot, canter, and some pulls. So hope you enjoy. Thanks horse lovers. Okay, so first I'm going to take Duke of Weselton over to the mounting block, and we're just going to go slow today and focus on mounting. I'm going to just kind of throw my leg over him, see how he reacts, retract my leg, and repeat, so on and so forth, just so that he doesn't get in the mindset of when we mount or when my leg is over him that we just go forward. So I think this is good to practice once in a while and just kind of see how they respond. And I also want to give him a positive reinforcement. So I did give him a treat just because I want him to know that this is a great place to start, that he's getting something very positive out of this. And he's doing really well. He's super calm. He's kind of just looking back like, okay, like, why aren't you just getting on? But at the same time, I just want him to understand when I put my leg over, we don't just move forward, which he has not done, but I don't want that to happen. And yeah, really good. So I am just going to leave my feet out of the stirrups for a second because I want to see how he does when we're walking, and I pick up my stirrups when he's moving forward rather than when we're halted. Just something I wanted to practice. Okay, so he was great, didn't mind at all. Just something else that I'm taking into consideration. So throughout my training sessions with him, I'm definitely making sure to praise him, keep him comfortable. I want him to know that he's in a safe place and that he's really appreciated. So I'm constantly going to be praising him, petting him when he's giving a good try and doing a good job and just putting in effort, even if it's not perfect, of course. So we're just practicing walking and halting a little bit for the warm-up. I just love his energy and demeanor. He just has something really special about him, and I was just petting his backside a little bit so that he can get used to that, and he's like, what are you doing? He's being a really good boy. So yeah, he's very calm, but he will get stressed easily at times, and he does get unsure of himself. But right now he is like, this is so relaxing, so he's yawning. But there's a lot more to him than meets the eye. You can tell though that he is unsure of some things, whether that's from his past. My conclusion, he was on a dude ranch, and again, he's only 5 years old, so obviously he had been ridden before, but I don't think he was ever properly introduced to things, and I don't think he really truly grasps and understands the concepts. Unfortunately, I also feel like when he was given instruction and it wasn't reciprocated properly, that he was kind of just beat a little bit. Like, I do feel like there was some abuse there just based on his mannerisms. So breaking through them is going to be something that's challenging, but also very important aspect of this training. And I think once he knows 100% that he is safe, it's going to make a huge difference. Moral of the story, I think his core demeanor is very calm and sweet, but he just has some trauma in place that we're going to have to work through. But again, I still think he's going to be that solid lesson, all around amazing pony once we progress. So today I'm riding him in a snaffle, and he's just adjusting to that. So as you can see, he is kind of opening his mouth a little bit, which of course is not the ideal, but he's just going to have to get used to carrying the bit. I'm not really asking him for much, but he does want to keep really like dropping his head, like not just lowering his head, but he's kind of wanting to take the bit. So I'm just staying steady. I'm not pulling up on him. I'm just staying steady and allowing him to understand, like, you're not going to just drop the head down. That's not what we're looking for right now, because he wants to put his nose to the ground, like if I would let him. So we just want him to just be even in the shoulder. That's really what I'm expecting of him, and that's a little bit better right there. But as the session goes on, hopefully he adjusts a little bit more. Like, that is really ideal, what he was doing right there. And that's why I'm not asking anything, because he put his head lower, but he wasn't dropping it super far down. So Wesselton is 5 years old, which is very young, and of course he's green. So what I'm looking for as far as his posture right now is I want his neck to be even with the shoulder. That is what we're working on to develop. So what you saw a second ago was a little bit better. And I want his nose to be just above the vertical with a slight arch in his neck and a little bit of rounding in the back. He is not capable of having collection right now. True collection takes 2 years to develop properly. Just because they can put their head down does not mean that's true collection. That is faked, and in the long run, it'll end up causing a lot of issues, lameness, joint issues, all kinds of different things. So that is false collection. I want him to just kind of go a little bit lower with that nose out and just develop that muscle. And then after he's comfortable with that, like several months to years later, then we can ask for more collection. But you want him to be in different postures and frames. To just hold them in one frame is not okay. People expect so much from horses so fast, especially young ones, and that's just not good biomechanics. That's not good training, and that is not how I do things. So this is going to take a lot of time. And of course, given his situation, he's not properly muscled, balanced, because he hasn't had the time. He's 5 years old, and especially if he hasn't been given the correct training. So moral of the story, we're not going to rush things. There's no need to, and he's just going to develop the way he needs to. The good news is he's naturally a really nice mover, so that will make things a little bit easier, but still does not replace the time that's needed to develop. So the main focus today is just letting him move naturally and allowing him to develop that self-carriage while encouraging proper posture. So when he does kind of lower and round a little bit without dragging the bit, it's praised so that he understands that's what we're looking for. And all we're looking for is moments. Okay, now we're gonna go under poles for the first time under saddle. Let's see how he does. That was really good. I'm so proud of him. Look at him. Yay. And you see at the end, he kind of stretched right there. That's kind of what I'm looking for. So just a few moments each session and then building on that. That's what I'm looking for. And he did it. And I really like ground pole exercises because they help develop elasticity. It allows the horse to round and to use their top line and to develop that. So it's a really important exercise, and I definitely implement it weekly. So another thing I noticed, he gets a little tight in the shoulder, and it's kind of like his head is bending, but his body's not going with. So we're going to be working on a lot more lateral work, doing some circles, developing that flexibility and suppleness. And again, that's just going to take a lot of time. But he's doing better as the session goes on, and he's a little more responsive to the leg. I think part of it is lack of coordination and balance, and then lack of understanding. So again, just doing the best we can and praising what he does right and not disciplining what he does wrong. That's just not going to work as far as training goes. So I want to promote all the good stuff so that he feels positive and that he understands that's what I'm looking for. And he really does try. That's the thing. That's all I care about, is that they try. The rest will just come as time goes on when it's supposed to naturally happen. There's no rush. I have no reason to rush these horses. I don't care about competing. I don't care about any of that. I care about the horse and just developing them in their own time. Wesselton definitely seems to enjoy the pole work. He's doing a really good job for doing it under saddle for the first time. Really impressed with him. And basically right now I'm just working on straightness, going over them, and so on and so forth. Okay, now we're going to focus on some cantering under saddle, and he's doing great so far. So before, he'd want to just kind of stop by the gate or at the fence that's closest to the gate. And now we're just working on keeping him forward and consistent. So I'm asking him to do about 1 to 2 large circles, and then I'll bring him back down and then pick it up again. And he's doing good. He does want to get really far into the corner, so I'm just using a little bit of my outside leg just to assist him and a little bit of inside rein. But because he's just getting used to carrying himself and the bit and me, it's a little bracy, but we're going to work on it as time goes on. And that's why I'm trying to keep really big circles and not ask for too much at one time. Okay, now we're going to canter in the other direction. So that was a pretty decent transition given where he's at in training. He has a really fun canter. His gaits are smooth. He doesn't really feel too much like a pony, like a little bit, but not bad. But I really enjoy him. He's comfortable. He's fun. And I just love how there's no like negative, like any crazy energy. He's just green and just needs more of the fine tuning. But overall, like he's not bucking, rear bolt, like there's nothing like that with any of the ponies. So that's kind of amazing. And there's his stop. What a good boy. I'm so proud of him. He's so fun. Okay, so now we're going to work on some transitions from trot to walk, because when I transition down, he wants to just stop. So I want him to just walk, and that was pretty good right there. But when we go from trot to walk, he just wants to stop and throw his head down, and I'm assuming that's from Western training, which nothing wrong with that. That's lovely. But I want him to understand the difference between stopping and walking. I am using my seat to ask him to slow down as well in a little half halts. So I'm tucking my bottom core and just sitting on my seat bones when I ask him to transition down, barely using any rein and just trying to get him to respond to my seat and with the level of pressure I'm using. And what you're seeing is him kind of throwing his head down. It's not me using the reins, just so you understand. Also, if you're liking this, if you could hit the like button, we'd really appreciate it. Okay, and I think that's going to wrap up our session. If you guys could hit that subscribe button, it would mean the world to WESELTON and I. And we'll see you next time, horse lovers. Bye.